Well, folks, today is the day that Steve Bannon is supposed to be surrendering himself to law enforcement authorities in the state of New York for his role in the We Build the Wall charitable scam. Now, if that sounds familiar, it's because it should be. See, Steve Bannon was already pardoned for his role in the We Build the Wall scam. And I'll refresh everybody's memories on what that is in just a moment. But when Donald Trump gave Steve Bannon, his former strategist, that pardon, it only applied to the federal laws that Steve Bannon broke, not to the state laws that Steve Bannon allegedly broke. And the reason I threw in allegedly with the state laws and not the federal laws is because, according to the Supreme Court, the acceptance of a pardon is, in fact, an admission of guilt. So we don't have to say allegedly for Steve Bannon violating federal law, but we do until he's convicted, if he's convicted, with the state laws. So, for those of you not familiar with it, We Build the Wall was a group put together by a individual by the name of Brian Kolfage, and the name basically says it all. They were tired of the fact that the government wasn't doing enough, even though Trump was the president, to build the wall along the southern border, so they started raising millions of dollars to hire private contractors to build the wall. And, as you would expect, they didn't do it. Instead, what allegedly happened is that they funneled the money from We Build the Wall through a group run by Steve Bannon, a nonprofit called Citizens of the American Republic, which coincidentally yesterday also lost its tax-exempt status from the IRS, also for this scandal basically. But Steve Bannon then used his nonprofit, gave Brian Kolfage money. He took money himself. That's what he was pardoned for. But the state of New York says that pardon doesn't matter one bit for our investigation into Steve Bannon. In fact, Steve, that pardon is probably going to hurt you. Because think back to what I just said just a moment ago. The United States Supreme Court ruled decades ago that the acceptance of a presidential pardon is in fact an admission of guilt. So due to the fact that you have literally already admitted by accepting the pardon that you are guilty in the eyes of the law, I don't know how you escape liability on this, bud. You already told the feds, I did it. By accepting that pardon, the Supreme Court says you're saying I did it. Which, by the way, if he were to be charged on the federal level, which he can't be because he was pardoned, acceptance of a pardon also exempts you from Fifth Amendment protections. So not only will Steve Bannon not be allowed to plead the Fifth if he is called as a witness in the other We Build the Wall fraudsters trials, but admitting that he already broke the law in the state conviction, probably going to be used against him, I have to imagine. The case is strong, obviously. They have the documents, they have the paper trail. And as I mentioned, this little nonprofit group that Bannon had set up to basically funnel the money, they had their IRS exemption stripped away from them this week, but not because it was being used as a money laundering operation, actually. They had it stripped away because they hadn't filed their tax returns in 3 years. And the IRS said, hey, we're okay with money laundering, but we draw the line at not submitting your tax returns, apparently. So there it is. Steve Bannon, of course, not happy about having to turn himself in. And this is what he said on his podcast. The Soros-backed DA. Yeah, I love how George Soros funds everything Republicans hate, right? If they hate something, you better believe they're going to spread a conspiracy that George Soros is somehow funding it. He's actually very, I don't want to say stingy. He funds some things on the left, sure, but as somebody that's been involved in multiple different projects on the left, you know, from Air America down to nonprofits, he doesn't give much money to any groups at all, and most of the time he will straight up tell you no. Anyway, the Soros-backed DA has now decided to pursue phony charges against me 60 days before the midterm election because War Room is the major source of the MAGA grassroots movement. I am never going to stop fighting. In fact, I have not yet begun to fight. They will have to kill me first. Well, I mean, if those are your terms, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, obviously. But you said it, right? You said it, not me. You're in trouble. You've admitted guilt on the federal level. I have no reason to think that the prosecutors at the state level aren't going to be able to get that same kind of admission from you as this thing goes on. So have fun turning yourself in, Steve. I know we will. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.